Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, if you could state your name for the record, please.
Amber Asher.
Defense?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Asher, good morning.
Or
What is your relationship with Dominic?
he's my oldest son.
Jason. Jason,
Thank you, Your Honor.
you're welcome.
Mr. Turner, I'm sorry. So he's your oldest son.
That's correct.
How many children do you have?
6.
And what do you do for a living, Ms. Asher?
I deliver for Uber.
Like Uber Eats? Okay, thank you. Oh, and just for clarification for the record, we'll need a.
Yes, that's correct.
In the interview that Dominic provided to probation, he had mentioned that he was mostly raised from childhood by his aunt and uncle. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Can you explain to the court how he ended up in the custody of his aunt and uncle?
Due to domestic violence between his father, him and his younger brother were both removed from my custody, and my aunt legally adopted them.
And just so the judge is aware, was this domestic violence? Were you charged with domestic violence? Were you an aggressor in these situations?
No, I was the victim.
Did you feel that because of that circumstances, you felt Dominic would have been safer in the custody of your aunt and uncle?
That's correct.
After he was put into the custody of your aunt and uncle, were you just no longer involved with his life?
I've always been there.
So you've played an active role in his upbringing?
That's correct.
Was Dominic's biological father, was he ever in the picture for him?
No, I think the last time Dominic saw him, he was like 3.
3 years old?
So I'm sorry, I'm confused. So the person that she's saying was abusive to her, is that the defendant's biological father?
That's correct.
Okay, all right.
Sorry.
No,
Could you please describe the judge, Dominic's character? Let's start, I guess, before this incident. And any change or growth in his character that you've seen since he was arrested on these charge.
I would have to say that before he was arrested on this charge, there was like tremendous maturity happening. And I won't say he made a mistake. He made some really bad choices in that time frame. My dad had just passed away like 2 months before that, and a lot was going on with me and him and his younger brother.
His younger brother being Isaiah?
That's correct.
Mhm.
And they kind of just lost their way for a while there. My dad was Dominic's best friend, the one that he always talked to. And then he felt like the one person who was always there for him was gone.
Ah, yes, the judge, the one adult in the room who somehow kept a straight face while navigating a courtroom soap opera featuring Uber Eats confessions, absentee parenting, and a tragic backstory that conveniently popped up post-arrest. Amid the emotional ping-pong and passive blame-tossing, the judge sat there like a human lie detector meets therapist, cutting through the drama like a hot knife through generational guilt.
Since he was arrested for this charge, the aggravated robbery charge, how would you describe, I guess, the changes that he's made in his life, improvements, if any?
He started to get his life on track as far as employment and talk about school, getting his GED, and starting to care about where his life was going instead of just being this empty shell every day.
What about any sort of changes in character since learning that he was to become a father?
He's very responsible. He's a great dad as far as I've seen so far. He does everything he can to try to help with the baby.
As far as you're aware, would there be potential issues in terms of raising the child if Dominic is not involved?
Financially, of course, and also she needs her dad.
Obviously, being his mother, knowing him since he from birth, any history at all that Dominic had, of aggression or violence or acting out in anger, like was he getting into a lot of fights in school? Anything like that?
No,
But you had mentioned your younger son, Isaiah. Thank you. He was mentioned as well in Dominic's interview. Dominic admitted that Isaiah was the shooter in this incident. As far as you're aware, is that correct?
that is correct.
Where is Isaiah now?
He's TDC.
Is it because of this incident that he is there?
That's one of the incidents for the reason why he's there. He had numerous charges.
I know it's tough as a mother to talk about your children in this light, but would you describe Isaiah as being more of a troubled or violent individual compared to Dominic?
He's definitely more of fly off the handle than Dominic. Dominic more level-headed than Isaiah's more rowdy. I don't know how else to explain him. Like,
Could you please explain to the judge why you believe that Dominic is deserving of a chance on deferred adjudication rather than going to prison?
I think that's it right there. Is just a chance. He just needs a chance to not become a statistic of his. He made a horrible choice, and he knows that. And we just ask for mercy. That's all. He has to be accountable for his actions, and we understand that.
Is there anything else that you would like to inform the judge? Anything you feel is important for her to know about Dominic?
I just know that his heart's in the right place and his mind's in the right place, and he just needs, he wants to do things right and be a good productive member of society, a good man, a good father, and a good, fiance to his girl. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Pastor Winchell.
All right, state.
Yeah, sure. But are you aware that your son is also accused of unauthorized use of a motor vehicle and theft of that motor vehicle on June 23rd, 2021?
That's correct.
Just one second. Excuse me, lady in the shirt. Who are you? No, who are you? Are you here? You're a friend? Well, friend, this is not visitation, and you're talking to inmates in the box. And let me tell you what the problem with that is. The problem with that, oh, don't give me attitude. The problem with that is the fact that the officers are in charge of security and you're messing with security. So friend of the person in the box, step outside the courtroom. And the friend in the box, this is not visitation. You need to do that at the jail. No. Okay. Yes.
Yes, I am.
And just like that, the judge turned a courtroom into a masterclass on boundaries and common sense. In a sea of sob stories, half-baked redemption arcs, and surprise visitors treating felony hearings like brunch hangouts, the judge cut through the chaos with the precision of a chef dicing onions, sharp, necessary, and with no patience for tears. Because apparently some folks needed a reminder. This isn't an episode of Maury, it's court, and the judge isn't here for emotional fan clubs or side chats in jailhouse cosplay.
Aware that he had those other two charges. One of the charges actually, the vehicle in question was actually stolen by my other son.
So I guess since you brought up your other son, so two of your sons, one being the oldest, and then Isaiah is the next one. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So both of them are out car hopping. You know what that means?
Yes.
What does that mean?
They're basically going from car to car, getting whatever they can out of it.
Were they living with you at this time?
No,
Well, you stated that he didn't the defendant in this case, your son, didn't he come to live with you when he was 17 or 18?
when he turned 18, he did.
Okay, so how old was he when he was committing these felonies? Because he has to be 18 or older, so he was staying with you when he was 18.
I'm sorry,
you're
stay
saying-
just 1 second. Excuse me. Guys, don't approach the court coordinator while we're on the record because there's chatter over here. There's chatter in the box. It's making it difficult for me to hear on this very important case, which all the cases are important. And it's making it difficult for the court reporter to hear. All right, so you may continue.
So you're aware that, I mean, when he was committing theft of vehicle or unauthorized use of motor vehicle, he was staying with you, is that right?
At first, he did go back and forth. It wasn't like one day he brought all his stuff and moved in. It was, he came, he stayed the weekend, and then it was, it kind of just solidified into like a permanent thing. Isaiah ended up going back to my aunt's because he didn't have a choice.
So to be fair, I mean, your sons and your children are moving from your house to somebody else's house. You don't know exactly where they are, do you?
I don't agree with that
Okay, so you know where they're at all times?
for the most part.
So on December 25th, going into December 26th, when this aggravated robbery where their shooting happened, you knew where they were on Christmas night?
I didn't know where they were at that time, no.
Okay, so now do you agree with me that you don't know where they're at all times?
Well, I don't think anybody knows where their children are at all times when they're at that age.
On Christmas night?
Well, I do have 4 other kids at home, so yeah, I mean,
But this one child of yours that's over the age of 18 staying with you, and then you also have a juvenile son that was charged with this aggravated robbery that went to TYC for this actual ag robbery. So you didn't
Correct.
know where your juvenile son was that night when he was committing an ag robbery. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
I mean, I guess that's correct, but like I
Okay,
said, my
thank you.
aunt has custody of Isaiah and had custody of him at that time.
And actually, your son in this particular case is actually says that he's gonna return to the aunt and uncle's residence and stay there with his girlfriend, with their, I believe, this young child, the 9-month-old. Is that right?
Yes,
And
that's
not with
right.
you. Is that right?
That's correct.
And just like that, the courtroom transformed into a live episode of Parenting the Blindfold Edition. The judge didn't need to say much, because between the state's perfectly aimed questions and the mother's Olympic-level mental gymnastics, it was clear who still ran the show. With laser focus and a zero-nonsense vibe, the judge managed to keep order in a circus of excuses, crosstalk, and surprise cameos.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, any other questions?
Some follow-up, Your Honor.
Yes.
How old is Dominic today?
20.
20 years old. So at the time that this occurred, roughly around 18 years old. Does that sound right, or is that incorrect?
That's correct.
Were at that time, were you keeping tabs on him at all times? Or was he of the age where he was? Let me rephrase it this way. At 18, is he an adult?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, just to rephrase, at that age of 18, is he considered an adult?
Yes.
No further question.
All right, any other questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
I just have a few questions, if there's no objection.
No objection.
State, Your Honor.
All right, so were your parental rights terminated?
No, I actually relinquished my rights. It was an ongoing CPS case, and they basically told me I had ran out of time. They'd already given me an extension.
So that means that there was a legal case, am I correct?
Yes,
And as a part of that legal case, there were certain things you had to complete.
before I relinquished my rights. That's
No,
correct.
there were certain things that you had to complete because they were giving you a chance to have your children in your custody,
That's
correct?
correct.
So what did you not complete?
I actually didn't complete, well, I didn't maintain my sobriety at that time.
Okay,
So I went into inpatient.
all right. Thank you so much for coming in and giving me some insight into your son. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, call your next witness.
Defense would not call.
And just when you thought the courtroom couldn't deliver more plot twists, the judge casually unwraps the real backstory like it's the season finale. No yelling, no drama, just calm, strategic questions that sliced through a fog of half-truths and memory lapses like a hot knife through courtroom butter. While others were spinning stories, the judge was collecting facts with the patience of a saint and the precision of a surgeon. Honestly, if wisdom had a mic, it would have dropped right then and there.